I had a lot to choose from, as did Joyce, and I'm sure Dina too. You know, we have had a long, like 3-decade career. And I decided to start with this because it relates perhaps the most to the theme of the show, the mash or the masherbiyeh. And my interest in the Middle East was often based on quotation and based on an examination of colonialism that used quotations from European depictions of Middle Easterners or of Arabs, you know, from French especially. In early 2001, before 9/11, I thought, why do I have to limit myself to the Middle East all the time? Why don't I just do a mash of different cultures, to use the words for this show? So I was even thinking like French embroidery, because that was like my mother's training as she was growing up in Lebanon, and mashed up with trailer park trash, whatever that is. And I was thinking about these things, and then 9/11 happened. And I have to tell you, I'm an immigrant. I came when I was 6 years old. My family came from Beirut, although I was born in Baghdad. And I felt so alienated at that point. I was also in a state of hallucination. I began to see the American flag, which was everywhere. And I began to see these Islamic Arab patterns layered over them. As I was awake, I was hallucinating. I later found out that that kind of hallucination is a form of grieving, actually. And so I was grieving what was happening, like everyone else in the nation. At the same time, I was in a position where I had to defend myself. I've been an activist all my adult life, started out as a labor organizer and then a peace activist, and then now increasingly peace and civil rights for Arab Americans and all Americans, actually. And so I was put in this position where I couldn't go to these other patterns. I was stuck with Arab patterns and the American flag. I could not get these visions out of my head. And a few weeks after 9/11, I began to paint. And it was from 2001 to 2011, I did these paintings. It wasn't the only thing I did, but one thing that happened with these paintings is they became opportunities to skip these, explore Arab pattern, Arab Islamic pattern. Correct. It was that allowed diverse groups of people to religiously and even invited from around the world to create this culture. Because people misinterpret and misunderstand what these patterns mean. And I had a discussion with Joyce about this, that you got to be careful. If it's a multiple of 4, it could look like a star or a cross, then it looks Christian. If it's 8-pointed or more, then it's more Islamic. If it's 6-pointed, it could look Jewish. And people's ignorance about these patterns, and you wouldn't think patterns would be controversial, but they become very political. So I've been very careful about what I use. I remember